myself. Don't know how many of you, probably none of you, but that's okay. I'm a nerd. And you're going to think even nerdier after this Two Truths and a Lie. I'm a big professional wrestling fan, little known Brad McKinnon trivia fact.
I knew that.
You know that because I told you this week at the retreat that I was taking my first Life night off. I've been going to Life Team Mass pretty much every Sunday. There's been one for 2.5 years. The last one I missed was the Sunday Maddie was born. She was born on Friday, so I didn't make it to Life Team Mass that weekend. 2.5 years. So I'm a huge wrestling fan. So here's the Two Truths and a Lie wrestling version of Brad McKinnon's life. I can name the last 25 WWE champions. I once camped out for 48 hours to get front row seats at a wrestling event at the Metro Center. I bought a wrestling t-shirt that cost me $65.
The first one.
The second one.
First one.
Okay, who thinks it was the first one? Who thinks it was the second one?
It's 24 hours.
Who thinks it was the third one? I own a $65 WrestleMania X8 jersey when I went to WrestleMania. I can name the last 25 WWE champions, believe it or not. And finally, I'm not naming them all. Oh my gosh, that would bore the people to tears. Because I was trying to think how far back in my brain I can go. I can do 25. I used to be able to do 100.
100?
100. And Metro Center only allows you to camp out for 24 hours in front of live tickets. So it was only 24, not 48 hours.
Ha! I was right.
The second one, I only camped out for 24 hours, not 48.
That big difference.
I took a bus at 5:30 in the morning to the Metro Center, which took an hour. I brought a folding chair and a deck of cards and a blanket, and I sat at the Metro Center. The tickets went on sale at 8 a.m. or at 7 a.m. the next day on Saturday. On Friday, I sat there. Put my chair down.
Was there a big lineup?
Yeah, I was number 7 in line. There were people there before me.
Really?
I was number 7 in line. I got tickets from. So I was this from here to the wall away. That's right.
That's such a nerd! You're such a nerd,
It's so fake. Why would you hang around the Metro Center?
You know what's even nerdier?
Pro wrestling's real.
What?
Sure I did. It's so sketchy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
On a Friday night, no doubt.
No, you're not missing the Christian hit, the real nerdy part about it. Think about it. That's what I did for my Friday night that night. Think about it.
Wow.
Which proves how much time you have on your hands.
Man, I would die.
On your hands.
All right. So, tonight we're talking about keeping it real. Being authentic. She'll stop filming you when you listen to me. So we're encouraging, I want you to just listen, and I want you to really pay attention, because this one's a really tough one. I mean, this is the one that St. Paul, I think, was the best at. I'm a big St. Paul fan. I think he was the best. Once he had his conversion on the road to the road to Damascus, when he was struck down from his horse, Paul became this amazing evangelist, and he preached the gospel. I mean, and not just with words, but with how he lived his life. He was this amazing, transformed person. And I really want you to think about it. Because we all have people in our lives who are posers. I'm a poser at times in my life. I often will use ghetto slang, sweet speech, and look at me. I mean, come on. If you ever see me dance, there's no doubting. I have no rhythm whatsoever. And we have these people, right? You have them at your house. You probably have them at your school, you probably have them on your sports teams. People who, are one person one place and a totally different person another place. And they're posing, right? They pretend to be tough, they pretend to be smart, they pretend to be cool, whatever it is. They're totally posers. And you know what? Maybe even sometimes you've been like me and not been completely authentic. I got an email. All right.
Whoa, that was awkward.
How was that awkward?
It's like a cowbell.
Maybe. Okay. As Catholic Christians today, we are called to be evangelists. We're called to preach the gospel always. We are called to be witnesses to our faith. And the scary part about that is that people will judge Catholics based upon us, based upon how we live our lives. And so we're called to be authentic to who you are, authentic to your faith. And if you really want to change somebody's life, and you really want them to believe in Jesus, there's no better way than living it. People are always looking for the fakeness in church. They're looking for churchy people who are fake. And it's scary because we're not all perfect. And we're not all perfect. And even the best people mess up sometimes. So what ends up happening is you end up sometimes giving people the wrong impression. Being authentic is about being real. It's about being faithful. And more so than being faithful in what you say, it's about being faithful in who you are and how you live your life. Your action, oh, come on, you've all heard it. Actions speak louder than words. Well, it's most true about your faith. How you live your life means way more than what you say. Like when you tell people, when people ask you, hey, why can't you come and hang out at my house Tuesday? And you say, oh, I'm going to Edge. What's Edge? That's one really cool way to witness. Another really cool way to witness is little things you do, like holding a door for somebody, being nice to somebody. I'll give you a few more examples later on the talk. But nothing turns somebody off more quickly than being toothpaste. One thing that I see a lot of as a youth minister is teens who are really amazing teens at like Edge or Life Teen, and then teens that are totally different people in the real world. So like, you run into them at the mall, and they're like cussing, and they walk over and they're, oh, hi Brad! Or my personal favorite was a teen that I knew a few years ago. She's grown up now, and doesn't do this anymore, thank goodness. But she'd be dressed up, she'd be wearing a clothes, like kind of a sketchy outfit, and you tell that she totally altered her outfit as she went out. So her mom was this really about modesty, so she'd wear a dress, down below her knee. Now, the moment she got to the mall, though, safety pins came out, and the dress was altered to be way above the knee, more like here. Anyways, she runs into Brad. Well, it was more like thigh high, but anyways, she runs into Brad at the mall, and all of a sudden, it's like two different people. It's like those two worlds collided. The person who wanted boys' attention and wanted them to look at them, and this girl who used to go to church who was this really holy, wonderful person, the person I knew. Sometimes worlds collide and you have to figure out who you really are. Being real means being that really holy person that I get to see here at Edge every week. St. Francis had a saying. St. Francis is one of the most famous saints. There's a lot of Francis and a lot of St. Francis, but the original St. Francis said this. This guy follows him around, right, for weeks, and kind of secretly follows around and sees him do all these things, and asks him, St. Francis, how do you preach the faith? And this was his response. It's become a famous quote. Preach the gospel always. Use words when necessary. It's a quote the Bible boy used. Preach the gospel always, use words when necessary. What do you think that means?
Yeah.
Alex wants to jump in. And he used his hand and was really excited.
Jump in.
That means instead of being I don't know exactly what it means, but if you preach something, talk about it, don't just not do it. If you say, you should believe in God, and then you go and do something, God says don't do this, and just openly do it. That is not being